today's panelist is a firm believer of the thought that goes like this: life is the only and best teacher, and we are all students. It is a journey to be experienced. At every crossroad, our knowledge, wisdom, karma, values, and principles guide us to a direction with belief that the road ahead shall meet our purpose one day. I, Shaurya, on behalf of the Ladder Podcast channel, welcome you all to this episode in series of interviews. Before we begin the interview, let us have a look at glimpse of our purpose and motto of our podcast channel.
Confusion is inevitable state of mind in all stages of life, be it the education, selection of life partner, or the job. More the options, more is the confusion. Despite being the exceptional military leaders, when it comes to transitioning from boots to suits, we again encounter the same confusion. Which job profile to select, what certification needs to be done, and where do we start are all questions that haunt the mind. We at The Ladder bridge this gap of unknown queries by interviewing veterans who are already well settled after their transition. We bring you their valuable experience and share guidance so that you all are benefited. Following the motto of once a soldier, always a soldier, we're here to fill that gap of mentoring and guidance so that bonhomie of armed forces fraternity remains intact.
Alright. Group Captain Sandip Sarkar has served the Indian Air Force for over 23 years. He is a ICF PCC level certified purpose and leadership coach, Operations Strategist and business consultant, a motivational speaker, and presently working as regional director at the Alpha Group International. A very good afternoon, sir. It's a privilege to interview experienced veteran like you, sir.
Thank you so much. Pleasure is mine.
Sir, please tell us, being an electrical engineer, how did you join the Indian Air Force, sir?
You see, I was more or less fascinated with service since beginning. The discipline, the regimentation, they connected with me very well. Air Force came to our campus when I was in third year. So it was again a love at first sight, the conduct, the overall, the bearing. And I had no second thought, neither I've given any other interview in my life. Straight away jumped in, and history says I was right.
Sir, how did you pursue your MS in management from BITS Pilani while you were in Air Force service?
You see, the role of consultant attracted me very well. I saw it relates to competency and advice to influence business outcome very seriously. So I was posted at Air Force headquarters. I saw the opportunity, and service always encourages everybody to get upskilled. So I got first exposed to operational consultancy while in service as I was in plants branch there. My job was to look after capital acquisition and perspective planning, where I was interacting with weapon developer and manufacturer all across the world. And that is first time I realized the importance of operational consultancy. They being manufacturer developer had all the technicalities, and they were just clueless about users requirement of the operation acumen that the weapon should have actually or deliver. So that is where the role of customization came and the consultancy came, and that attracted me to get into this post.
And how well planned and sorted decision was yours from switching to corporate world, sir?
This was unfortunately not planned in that sense. Air Force was my first love, and I had no intent of moving out. However, we are all child of destiny, and I respect the divine wisdom always. So there was a pressing family commitment. For that, I had to take a call, and we need to rather take a call and had to move out. So service generally takes good care of personnel moving out, and then they give us a kind of upskilling or training requirement. Some of my friends have gone into MBAs from premier B schools, I saw, and like that. But the last unit that I had, I was a unit commander, and I didn't have that luxury of moving out and joining a course somewhere else. I had to take a call, so I chose Air Force there also, and I had a huge trust and respect for what service has taught us. So I was very confident. So I moved out without doing much of homework in that sense of getting trained or upskilled into a B school. But that 23 years of training stayed with me. And history says I was absolutely right in my decision. So there was no training planning as such, but otherwise things were well planned.
How was your experience as operation head at the Indus Tower Limited, sir?
It was wonderful, I must say. In this I was in my role was in operations. I was operations head for West Bengal, Sikkim, and Andaman Telecom Circle. And service taught us connect, then lead. Very, very important. And most of the people falter here. You don't have connect with your team, you cannot lead anybody. So then core values and principle. So the fundamentals were brought up by this great institution called Indian Armed Forces. And I think I had no challenge in there after running operations of a telecom operation setup or like in the stores. So we implemented fundamentals like uniform way of working, command and control in operation, the core values and the principle, all brought from armed forces. So what I learned there, I practiced here. I had no challenge absolutely whatsoever.
Please tell us about your experience as a purpose and leadership coach at the Soulpreneur.
This name Soulpreneur is very unique. This is coined by, at least I have coined it for me. This is a venture, my venture. That's a company I own. So the organization I own. It is soul is something we know what it means, and the entrepreneur that listens to the soul is soulpreneur, as far as I'm concerned. So that's a name. I help people and business stuck and facing transition to transform and achieve their goals by aligning purpose to performance through coaching and mentoring interventions, sometimes consulting as well. I support SMEs to transform their business. It's a journey of fulfillment, The fundamental question around who am I or what I am here for are the soul area of interest as far as I'm concerned. There are many questions around perspective and reality, or belief and behavior, and flipping the script, and the journey from the purpose, dream, schedule, and strategy, I call it PASS, are all around this exercise that I'm doing now. And the mission is very simple: keep it simple, work on basics, and live life by compass. As I go through the discussion, I will talk a little bit more about live life by compass, because that's a unique belief I have, and I'm very strong about it.
Great, sir. Did you do any upskilling during your transitioning?
If you say transition, yes, upscaling means not during, but then thereafter, firstly, my MS consultancy helped me in changing the shoe. And thereafter, once I came into Industar, I was subjected to many trainings, of course. And then thereafter, I got exposed to the neuro-linguistic programming, the NLP they call, and into coaching. So they are all upskilling in one sense, but during transition and thereafter. So it's a complete journey. Right?
Can you elaborate more about this neuro-linguistic program and the coach business? Any certifications you have done?
So what I did is when I moved out of Air Force, and when I moved out of Industar rather at the end of 2020, I was exposed to I know it's I think law of attraction, as I feel. I used to get a lot of material on coaching and on mentoring kind of stuff. Why, I do not know. So I got exposed to a subject called NLP there, and my first training on NLP came along with a lady called Sunai. She's a renowned specialist in NLP, and neuro linguistic programming is all about programming your mind of how do you see the world and how do you make others see the world. I think that is all about it. And thereafter, I got exposed to coaching. I did a training from one institute in Pune called Master My Life, and I am in the journey towards getting accreditation by credentialing by International Coaching Federation towards PCC coach. So that is how I'm moving my journey towards this coaching as a profession. So I think it is almost around 2 years I'm into this.
What is the nature of job and role as a regional director in the Alpha Group International?
Alpha Group International is a UK-based consulting firm, business consulting firm. What they primarily do is to do peer-to-peer coaching and peer-to-peer executive board, and they believe in collective wisdom. It's a great concept, a rather brilliant concept working all around the world. They are present in many countries. So my primary understanding was to get an exposure of business coaching and consulting, and I think that's quite fulfilling a purpose as I am seeing through this job. So it is with the SME business owners, and primary aim is to improve their business prospect, to make it double, the value double in 2 to 3 years. And it's a established business across the world and now getting into India.
Undoubtedly, sir, your vast experience of 23 years in Air Force must have helped you a lot in learning many values. But can you list some of the key important aspects which have helped you shaping in your profile for the corporate job?
First, and to start with, is connect with lead. I think it is a basics or the beginning of everything. That if you do not have a connect with your team, camaraderie with your team, you will not be able to lead. So that is what influenced my 12 years of corporate life significantly, and I saw reaping dividend here. Second is basic understanding of discipline and motivation. There is a big correlation here. People get scared listening to discipline in the civil world, many of them I saw. But there is a fundamental understanding issue here. Discipline is not about something which is being dumped on you. Discipline is all about your understanding about how you should lead your life and how you can regiment your own life. So it is your own set of rules. They're not to come from outside. So, and when you see discipline and motivation, the motivation gets you to the door, but it is discipline that gets you going. Because as you lead life, I have seen you will not be able to maintain your motivation to the peak always, not possible humanly. So what happens? As you go low on motivation, your regime goes for a nosedive and you're out of track. This is where discipline comes into scene, just to get you going, just to stay on track, and so that you don't fall down. And as you move, the law of compound interest says that you will soon or late see the benefit coming. And as you see the benefit coming, when you pause and introspect as you travel, you see there is a movement. And all such movements, if you celebrate, when you celebrate, you get motivated. So they are working, they should work in tandem. And this is what service taught us. Third, and very powerful approach, and that I have applied in corporate life and saw it is working wonderfully well, is uniform way of working. Uniform is not the uniform that you put on. Uniform, by uniform, I means uniformity in thought, uniformity in approach. What is getting conceived in the boardroom, if that in a right language is not getting translated to the last mile who are executors, and the feedback from the field is not coming back to the boardroom, your purpose gets defeated. Many big leaders, I don't want to take the names, even at national level, at a very senior level, failed miserably because they have cut off their feedback line. Why? Because of theory of convenience. They don't want to hear bad things. They don't want to hear not so good things, but they're reality. You hear or you don't hear, fact cannot change. So this is what service taught is uniform way of working and command and control. In operation, the chain is most important. Absolutely important. Get it lubricated. It functions so efficiently and keeps your life under check. So I think these are fundamental things, that I saw service taught us, applied in civil and so in the corporate world. So wonderful benefit, right?
Sir, please tell us about the prospect of leadership coach or the motivational coach. And if somebody wants to pursue this PCC certification from the ICF, how to go about it?
It's very simple. There are many training institutes available. And this when you say coach, there are four fundamental things available. It is they are all about transforming life, and they are coaching, consulting, mentoring, and counseling. And all are distinctly different from each other. They are not same at all. One can say similar somewhere, but fundamentally they are not same. And there are different approaches or institutes who gives you this knowledge where you can get trained. So as far as coaching is concerned, there are many bodies in the world. One I know is ICF. So and it's a very renowned body. So I got attached to that, and then there are three levels of coaching. ACC, PCC, and MCC. So you can get 60 plus hours trained, and then you can have 100 hours of coaching experience and you can apply for ACC. So these coaching institutions are there who gives you basic coach training to prepare you towards this journey of coaching. So there are many in India, not one, two. I think there's no fun in taking the names, but there are plenty. So if anybody is interested in getting into coaching, what they should do is to find out an institute which is closer to wherever they stay. That is better. Otherwise, most of the classes happen online. And credentialing is a good effort or an investment. So ICF credential is good. So that way, institutes promoting this coach training, one can get connected and get trained for a duration of 3 to 6 months, 3 months for ACC, 6 months for PCC, and then can go for accreditation, which credentialing, which may take some more time, depending on what is the speed and how are they doing. So there are many institutes available, and simple Google will tell you how many are there. Plenty, in fact. And then there are many fields actually. Some institute teaches NLP, some institute teaches coaching, and then there are so many varieties of coaching. And then there are business coaching, there is leadership coaching. So those all are niche. Depending on what you love to do, you can choose your subject and start studying and then get into it. But very important thing is something, which must decide, should you go this way or that way? And that is what is understanding of purpose. What are you here for? Who are you? These questions are important for you to understand and whom you resonate with. So these all are important to understand which faculty, which subject, which area you should look into. Otherwise, it will be one more a job. That's it. And you will not have fun. So you must love what you do, and you must enjoy life. Right?
Sir, in comparison to various established leadership coaches or the mentors from the civil world, how good the armed forces officers have a chance in the market, sir?
I think armed forces officers are privileged to get paid, as well mentored to live a life full of values and principle. If somebody wants to be successful in life, there is a standard way of keeping it simple, working on basics, the way nature works. Nature works on routine. Nature works on routine, and anything that happens, an exception in nature, is all because of created problem of somebody else. Like human being, we create problem, so there are many things happen. You cut the tree, then there are floods, then there are landslides, so many other things. You don't do anything and don't fiddle with the nature, things are all right, more or less, unless the great wisdom prevails. So what nature believes is that you stick to your routine and keep your exceptions to the exceptions in real sense. And what armed forces teaches you are fundamental. What? There are three kind of investment what they teach in general for any of the cadre they have. Those are fitnesses. What fitness? Fitness of body. Service teaches you to be physically fit. They do exercise, you do exercise, your physical fitness is every year checked, always checked. You eat properly, you invest in your body. Then the fitness of mind. This is where I think service is developing now. You got to get into a kind of a meditation or mindfulness to keep a control over your body, invest in your mind, because that is not visible, not under your direct control. You cannot see the progress every day, but it is very, very powerful. And the third investment is called investment of values and principle, which service teach. Your discipline, your punctuality, your resilience, your motivation, your perseverance, your consistency. They're very typical to the services. Not that they're not being taught outside, but service ensures that is being given to almost everybody. Now, a teacher never teaches, a student learns. That is why you will see so much of difference in the same batch, in the same college. Not everybody comes out with flying color. Why? The teacher is same. So the teacher never teaches, the student learns. So this is where service comes. It gives you the platform, it tries to teach, and depending upon the understanding, the wisdom, the karma, the belief, people learn. And if they can apply that in life, in corporate life and other life, it gives wonderful experience. So my personal understanding says that it's all your mindset. If you have a mindset of retiring and then doing something, I don't think it is going to work. I hate this word called retire. There is no retire. I will retire once and for all. It is re-attire. And I will do that every time, re-attiring as my purpose leads to. My purpose is my bearing, the true north. So this is understanding came from armed forces. I am sure and I'm very confident I would not have been the one I am sitting in front of you had I not been exposed and groomed and had an opportunity of living my life, early life, through an institution called Indian Armed Forces. So I am absolutely grateful to that service.
Sir,
Right.
does the background of a transitioning officer in terms of technical or non-technical entry, or the arms or services, what they are working presently, really matter while choosing a job in the corporate?
Not really. I think, what is important is that you must find out what is your purpose. Why are you here for? And that's a very internal call. So there are many things happening in outside world, outside armed forces, where you can look into and try and do anything. So it depends on what resonates with you. If you find out what is your purpose, if you find out what resonates with you, if you do what you love and love what you do, your background really, nothing matters. Rather, your background will become a support system for you. So if anybody in service was in admin department, and there is no requirement of him or her looking at administrative jobs as such, nothing. It all depends on what is your purpose, what are you looking at, what do you love to do, and pursue your life in that. I would love to look at life as if I would like to do something that is my hobby, so that I pursue my hobby, and that gives me money as well. I'll be the happiest in the world then, right?
Please tell us about the importance of MBA and what is the best option to pursue it in terms of distance or the executive MBA, sir.
You see, it all depends on what is your requirement. Uh, there are big schools, B schools. You can get MBA from there. Executive MBA service encourages you to do those 6 months MBA. They are certainly value addition. There is no doubt. And then there could be, you get a brand, and getting a brand is always better. However, I say those who are not able to do this MBA, it's still all right. Like I never did an MBA, but that has never bothered me much, because it all depends on what are you looking at and how are you bringing your strengths on the table. And as far as the distant learning and other things are concerned, reality is virtual nowadays. It's a virtual reality. We are heading towards that. So, physical training or the course on online and offline are myth nowadays. Rather, most of the powerful courses are happening online because it is convenient. I have my two or three of the people out overseas. How are they getting connected with me and learning from me? It's online. Otherwise, either I got to go to England or to New York, and they got to, or otherwise come here to Kolkata, which is not possible. So I think it is how you look at and utilize your opportunity. That's it.
Sir, how important is networking for any transitioning officer?
Networking is important because what networking gives is brand. That networking gives you brand, and that brand gives you connect. So it is very, very important in that sense. And uh, you got to establish trust if you have to do business, and that trust can be borrowed trust when there is a networking. The trust, what I mean by that is, what is trust and borrowed trust? It means that I know you and you know me for a long time, and we have transacted over a period of time, so we have developed certain amount of trust. That's fine. And then I do a business with a third gentleman who doesn't know me well, but who knows you, and you know me so well. So I get a trust here in terms of you recommending me, and that becomes a borrowed trust. So that works wonderfully well in networking. And your brand also works. So it is very important that you keep your profile goes always goes ahead of you. So networking works wonderfully well there. What is most important here is there is a fever called fear of missing out, and that influences your networking at times. So if you know when to say yes and when to say no and what to let go, absolutely no challenge in doing quality networking, and you must do that.
As per your experience, sir, what are the key values of an armed forces officer upon which they can plan their transition and encash that opportunity as a job in the corporate world?
I said no. The most important part for a officer transitioning from armed forces to the corporate world is the knowledge or the understanding, the wisdom to say no and to let go. What we have to do here is, in services we are exposed to one kind of environment, the work culture, the requirement, and that is fairly different in the corporate world. I'm not comparing. I'm just saying both are good. Both are very good, rather, but they are different. Many of them are fundamentally different. So what somebody need to remember is what was good there need not to be good here if you apply them in letter and spirit. So you got to use a filter of space, time, and context to filter that understanding and apply it here. It is not a cut and paste job. So if you are disciplined in a sense, you got to internalize that understanding of discipline and apply it here depending upon the context of the place where you're working or the people you're working with. And straight away cut and paste will be a disaster. And it happens with many. So I would say two things here. Again, I'll repeat. Must learn how to say no and when to say no. And must know what to let go. So your framework of your value will take you ahead. Never compromise with discipline. But how to apply the sense of discipline is your fine understanding, which you have to see in corporate. It will not be the same as you have applied in services. So take your values from there, take your understanding from there, and customize it to apply so that it fits in the context. Otherwise, operation will be successful. Patient will surely die.
What do you miss most from your uniform life, sir?
At times, I miss the team, the connect, the excitement, the structure, the regime. And life begins where the fear ends. So the uncertainty in front, and I think by this time I got used to everything. So it is in that sense, there is no fear of missing anywhere. I am a soldier. I will remain a soldier, whether I put on uniform or I don't put on uniform. So that's it. So mostly I don't miss much.
Any last word of advice for the officers under transition, sir?
You see, my 35 years of work experience, 23 years in Air Force, and 12 years in 11, 12 years in corporate, and thereafter as an entrepreneur. I see life is only on the best teacher, and we are all students. And it is a journey that is to be experienced. We are not running for a destination. And at every crossroad, our knowledge, wisdom, karma, values, principle guides us to a direction with a belief that the road ahead shall meet our purpose one day. And every experience en route comes to take us to the next level of development. So enjoy the lesson, appreciate wherever you are in the journey. And every season comes with a flavor and it serves you a purpose. You must know a practice to say no and also let go. And the knowledge to say no and knowledge to let go is easier. Why? But when to do that is your wisdom. So keep that with you and never retire. You may re-attire whenever in your life your purpose says so to you. That's it and no more. Best of luck. Jai Hind.
Thank you so much for your valuable time, sir. I'm sure all your insights and the experience what you have shared on this interview will definitely a valuable addition to all the officers under transition. Thank you so much, sir.
Pleasure is mine. Thank you so much. Have a good day.